All right, guys, welcome back. Another Frank Opinions. So I'm Adam,
And I'm Tasker.
and this will be the episode where everybody turns against Tasker. That's why I have to come in with a slow pace.
See, there's always that one person everyone won't like, and you know what? I'm stepping up to the plate.
Because he's getting ready to shit on a national treasury. And I mean, I want to first off apologize to everybody that wrecked their vehicle, broke their listening device, chopped up their headphones. I mean, broke computers and everything when they heard the best Batman was Ben Affleck. So, if you've repurchased everything, you fixed your car, and you're listening again, by God, pull over, hit a rest area, go ahead and put it on speaker, get away from it. I'd get an axe and get ready to chop down some very large trees to get your frustration out, because we're gonna open up with my movie of choice. So if you've listened to us, this is the month of Thanksgiving. So if you know, it's the month that's between Halloween and Christmas, if anyone forgot. Uh, and we're sticking with traveling and meeting up with friends, family, just to get togethers. So, right out of the hole, my movie this week is another classic, another of the 80s genre of movies, and that is National Lampoon's Vacation. That's right. I know that most of everybody's familiar with the Christmas one, which we will definitely be reviewing that one when it comes to December. But this is the one that started it all, the very first family vacation, and was one of my absolute bucket list goals in life to go to Wally World. And I'm not talking about Walmart. I'm talking about Six Flags Magic Mountain in California is where this trip that Clark and his family goes on. So they're driving across country to get to this place that the kids are so excited to go to. And always growing up watched the movie a million times. Then finally figured out that was Six Flags Magic Mountain. So on my honeymoon, my new wife and I went to Wally World, and it was definitely open. And we went to the Moose Lounge because that was the only place kids weren't allowed, was in the Moose Lodge. So let me just give you a little backstory on this. We went there. It actually was the end of school for California kids, and every school decided to bring their like middle school is what it was to Six Flags Magic Mountain the day that me and my wife was there. And there was more kids in one county in California than the entire state of West Virginia.
Jesus.
It was insane. There was kids everywhere, and it's like teenage kids, so it was all kinds of like stupid shit. And it was just by midday, it was like 192 degrees. My shoes were melting. Like, I'm there to live a childhood fantasy, and it's just getting just shit on. Like, there's kids just running by, and they're like, "Get shit on, get shit on." So I'm like, "Oh God!" And then I seen this place, the Moose Lodge. You must be 21 years or older. I'm like, "Ooh, baby, don't you know that's right?" I'm like sprinting for it. I'm like, "Jessica, it's heaven." Because, you know, it's all kids with their chaperones and parents and teachers. There ain't no one in this bar. You go in there, it's ice cold. You know, they got the air conditioning kicking, sit down, get a cold drink. It's like it's a Moose Lodge place, right? So everything's done with the moose heads and big game hunting. I sit down and it's quiet. The waiters are all dressed up like freaking uh you know, tour guides for hunting. And I'm sitting there talking to my wife in peace and quiet, and I'll be damned if that 18-foot tall moose sculpture behind me didn't start singing. It started singing, totally ruined my experience. It was like, "Well, hi, folks." And I'm like, No, no. And I know it's a throwback to this movie, is why that moose is talking. And I would have really enjoyed it at any other time if it wasn't for the fact that I was 8 hours deep into a day that was supposed to be like all rides, and I'd rode 2. 8 hours, 2 rides.
God.
Yeah. And that was the day that I vowed I would never go to another theme park without buying the Fast Pass. My cheap ass did not buy the Fast Pass at Magic Mountain because I was like, $200? That's highway robbery. You won't get me for that. I at least lost $2 million worth of life that day standing in line. And every 30 minutes getting a little bit of mist from a mister to try to stay cool. While I listen to teenage kids talk about their non-love life and fucking shit they're watching on TV, and oh, it's terrible.
That's why I hate theme parks. I absolutely hate going to them.
It's a totally different experience if you get the Fast Pass.
Oh, I bet.
So now I know when I'm going, I just get online. I'm like, Fast Pass. If they've got a double-decker Fast Pass where like you get ahead of even the wheelchair kids, I buy it. So, like, anyways, this movie, oh gosh, it's just the beginning of. It set the precedents for all upcoming travel movies. It really did.
Yeah, I mean, it set up a bunch like the future of vacation type movies. I'll give it that.
God. Like, just give you a story on it. So, Clark's a businessman. He works a 9-to-5 job. He's got a wife and 2 kids, boy and girl, Audrey and Rusty. And Helen's his wife. So they're going to drive across country to Wally World. So along the way, obviously it's just a number of things keep adding up for this family. Right off the bat, he buys a new family station wagon to go across the U.S. in. He gets to the dealership. They don't have the one he ordered, so they try to sell him the family truckster, which has become one of the most iconic station wagons ever created.
Yep.
And he gets upsold no other by the dude from American Pie. What's his name? Eugene Levin?
Yeah.
So he's a car salesman, if you can recognize him, because he's super young.
Oh, yeah.
The voice gets you. That's why he was like, Clark's like, no, I want the car that I ordered. Well, you see, I'm giving you the family truckster. This is way more of a vehicle than what you ordered. He's like, no, I think I'll take my original one. Right as the fork of the fork truck go through the glass and pick it up and like carry it off. He's like, well, I don't think that's gonna happen. So they leave in this freaking sweet wood grain green family truckster. It's like the worst manufactured vehicle ever. And it just goes from there. I mean, there's so many funny parts in it. Like it's a family movie. Like again, this is back when the ratings was a little odd. I think that movie was PG-13.
I think it's rated R.
Is it rated R? Was the first Vacation?
Yeah,
R?
it's rated R.
I was gonna say because there's some pretty heavy cussing in it.
Oh, yeah, they're dropping F-bombs left and right, and I was like, oh my god.
I know, but I mean, like for me, I don't mind the cussing and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I don't either.
But there is those moments. It's not all the time, but it's that perfectly placed cussing that makes something funny.
All the time? What are you talking about? Not all the time.
They don't cuss every word in that movie.
I mean, it's quite a bit F-bombs in that one. More than
especially when they go to St. Louis.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Look, kids, it's the St. Louis Arch. 600 feet to the very top. There's an elevator. It takes you right up there. Dad, are we going to stop and ride the elevator? No. And those are all through it. Like they pick up Aunt Edna, who just is a disaster to be with. She's old, she's grumpy. And she brings this dog with her that's like Cujo.
Yep.
It's the worst dog ever. And it just it just makes their time just hell. And like there's one part of it that obviously a lot of parts in that movie, again, same with a lot of old movies, I just don't think would fly with
Oh no, it definitely would.
today's world. Because there's this part Clark rents him a cabin. Like at this I just like a cluster of cabins, you just rent one and stay the night. And remember, we got a pool. Everybody's all great to go get a pool, and it's like hasn't been serviced in like a decade. It's got the animals in it. It's got ducks.
Yeah.
Everybody's ready to jump in, and they're like, "Oh, I think the pool's closed." But anyways, they're trying to pack up to leave, and this dog is just ripping the pants off of Clark. Like it's just eating the shoelaces and bottom of his pants off. So he's trying to get everything loaded up. And Anna's complaining. Everybody's complaining because they got ate up all night by mosquitoes and fighting off animals and stuff. And so he ties the dog to the bumper with its leash because it's just being a menace. Well, they get everything loaded up, get everybody in the car, and they take off. And it's just a couple miles down the road, they get pulled over by a cop on a motorcycle. And he walks up and he's holding the leash.
Well, he don't bring the leash up to him. He just goes up to the window. He goes, and Clark's like, "Was a speeding officer?" And he's like, "Step out of the car." And like I'm like literally when I was watching it, my mouth hit the floor. Like I was not expecting what they were going, and they walk back to that car, and that cop picks up that leash, and I just I was speechless.
Yeah, the cop's like starts to cry, and he's like, "The little guy, he trying to keep up."
I was, oh my god! He's like he probably kept up best maybe a mile or two.
He just couldn't anymore.
I was like, oh my god!
Oh gosh!
And then like,
but honestly, it's by that part of the movie. Like for me, I didn't want to see that dog anymore.
well, see, like the dog, I was like, yeah, okay, he, annoying and everything, but like I was like, okay, whatever. Just another addition to that their trip of going downhill, like everything going wrong for them.
Yeah,
but
because
wasn't.
because they weren't animal owners that like at all.
No.
Any part of you didn't see any animals in their family, so you really as like I don't have any animals now, but I grew up with animals. So you have that mindset of you wouldn't forget it if you tied it off to somewhere. But honestly, with going through life, I know that people that have never been around that kind of stuff because they were from the city, right? So
yeah,
well, I could very well easily see someone tying the dog off to the back of a car and forget about it.
oh yeah, if you're not used to having that thing around, you're just okay.
Yeah, right, and like. It was in the heat of he's trying to get his family together to leave because he is dead set on this end goal of Wally World. And, hell will have no fury to stop this man to get to Wally World. But, yeah, the dog dies. And then they're driving and Edna's in the back between the two kids. And Helen's like, "Kids, wake and Edna, it's time for her medicine." Russ is like, "I don't know, she ain't breathing." "I think she's dead." They're like, "What?" And then like Audrey starts freaking out. They don't want to sit by a dead person all the way back. They're trying to get her to the uncle, which I can't remember where he lives.
Yeah,
but it was like 4 hours away from Wally World, so it was somewhere close to
10
California.
hours. 10 hours.
Or 10 hours. Because no one will sit beside her, so they wrap her up and strap her to the roof. They get there to the uncle's house and he's not home. He's going on vacation. So they put her in a chair, prop her up with an umbrella, like Weekend at Bernie's or something.
Oh, that's what I like too. Helen's like, we just can't leave her here. And Rusty looks at him and goes, what? She's not going to get a cold. I was like, oh my God.
And there's just so many little quips like that throughout the whole movie.
See, that's what, it's got its moments, but some moments it falls flat for me. And it just doesn't.
Man. Like when they go to Dodge City in Kansas, the guy's explaining about the bartender, and Clark goes up there and just calling him all kinds of names. And the guy really does get angry, and he pulls out a shotgun and shoots, but it's a fake shotgun with blanks. But Clark doesn't know it. Yeah, like he hits the floor. He gets up and he was like, "Oh, did you guys like that? That was pretty cool, wasn't it? I mean, him pulling out a gun and all. It was, it was all staged though. It felt real. It looked real." Then he asks again for a drink. He's like, excuse me, sir."
Yeah.
Oh man, and then the best part, they get there and the park's closed.
That's what I really loved about the movie. That part.
Wally Moose, the animatronic, is what greets you, and he's like, "Well, ha, folks. The park is closed due to renovations. We'll see you next summer." And that's when Clark totally loses it. Fucking punches that thing right in the nose. And he goes back and he goes to the pawn shop, buys a BB gun. Comes back. Helen's like, "Clark, what are you doing?" He was like, "We're going to Wally World." And the security guard is no other than John Candy. And he plays the best goofy security guard ever.
Oh, he does.
"Well, folks, the park's closed. It's closed to visitors. We're going to go into this park, and you're going to let us in." Then they're riding all these rides. And he looks at Clark and he goes, "Clark, you and I both know that's not a real gun." "It is too a real gun." "No, it's not. That's a pellet rifle." It is, but it can still put an eye out and break the skin, definitely." "No, it wouldn't, Clark. You know it wouldn't." "Yeah, it would." He shoots him with it. He's like, "Oh."
He's like, back at the roller coaster.
Yeah. He's like, I told you it hurt." Oh, but I know I've taken up a lot more time on my side of it, and that's just because it's amazing. If anyone goes and watches this movie, you literally can watch it a couple times, and just all the little stuff with it. Like when they go the wrong way in St. Louis, and he pulls up and he's in basically the downtown St. Louis in the hood, and he rolls down the window and he was like, "Hey, Holmes, you helping bro out and get back on the interstate? I ain't from around here." That guy goes, "No shit." Then he's giving him, "I give you directions to be $5. "Okay, well, I don't." Helen's like, here's 10. He hands him 10. He just puts in his pocket. "Okay, keep the change." He's like, "You see that sign down there right there that said rib tips? Yeah, you see it? It's right there on the corner. You see it? Well, fuck that. You don't want to go there. You go past there. You'll see a Torino up on blocks, got no wheels on it. My cousin's in there. And you just tell him that you're my boy, and he'll get you back on the interstate, because I'm not even from around here. I'm from Chicago. I'm here on vacation. You don't want directions from me." I love that. And I mean, I've actually done that to people in real life. Right. People come up to me and they're like, "Hey, can you tell me how to get here?" And I'll be like, yeah, I can help you. I'll be like, "If you look straight ahead where you're looking right now, you see down there at the end of the road, you see that tree leaning over? It's on the right." "Yeah, I see it." "Well, you don't want to go there. Go past that." "And you're going to see another house. You want to stop there and get directions, because you see, I'm not from around here, and that guy is, so you want to ask him." But I'll go right into it. Again, FOFR score, Frank Opinion Film Rating, 10. Straight 10. I've watched that movie when I've been down. It's in my top 10 of best movies ever. And like it's really helped me through some tough times, and it's the quintessential movie that I quote multiple times while on vacation.
Well, my score is not that high for it. See,
Just give them the freaking score and then tell them why. Tell them
all
why.
right. All right. So my score, I thought about it. It's a 4.3 out of 10.
That's me wiping the tears off my mic.
So it's got its moments, but not like nothing for me to like laugh out loud for me. Like I wasn't rolling. I was okay. Like when they went to St. Louis, I loved that part. And then when they're in the car when it's raining and everyone wanted to go back home and Clark gives his speech, I loved it. And then at the ending, I loved the when they go to Wally World. I believe John Candy pretty much saved that ending for the movie for me. But then,
oh yeah,
as I'm watching it, which I've known this for a while now, I'm just not a Chevy Chase fan. I'm just not that big into Chevy Chase. And I know a lot of people just, hopefully they weren't driving and just swerved off the road. But I'm just not a Chevy Chase fan. There's only really one movie that I really like, and that's Christmas Vacation. I mean, that's it, pretty much. And yeah, I watched Vacation a long time ago, and what I thought I remembered, I thought it was hilarious. Like I thought the movie was hilarious, and when I rewatched it, I was disappointed in myself too, because I was hyping it up. Like I thought it was. I mean, it's a classic for sure, but I thought it was better than what I was hoping. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those you definitely have to watch because it's a classic, but it didn't fall for me. So,
I did look it up. It was an R-rated movie.
Yeah. Yep. But
I mean, I can't. You didn't like the iconic scene with the Ferrari 308 and Christy Brinkley?
I mean, it's all right, but it wasn't nothing like if I'm gonna be dead serious, I won't watch this movie. Oh, the song that song right there, classic. I love it. Love the song. Like, but I won't watch this movie again. Like, I know I won't. The only time I would watch this movie again is if like a bunch of people was like, "Hey, let's watch Vacation," and then I don't want to ruin everybody and be like, I just agree. Okay. I wouldn't want to just like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, let's watch Vacation." I don't want to be that one guy. I'll just go, okay. And then after it's done, I'll just be like, I don't care for it. Then
hey guys,
I'll probably die
in my evening. I didn't want to let you know, but I hate this movie. Oh, did you say someone's outside cutting your brake lines? But we'll move on to your movie.
So, yep, my movie stars the amazing.
That's it. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all listening in this evening. I agree with that. Sorry, go ahead.
Better than the movie we just talked about, I think, is with John Candy, Uncle Buck.
Another classic. Absolute. We talked about this last time with The Great Outdoors. John Candy was just in so many of these movies, and his comedy never got old.
No. I mean, I loved, because I've never watched Uncle Buck. Never watched it, and I like, just his comedy is just what I like. I just love his type of comedy.
Did you pick it out when I gave a list of like, hey, this is a lot of travel movies and movies of family getting together? Is that when?
Yeah, that's when I was looking at. Yeah, I was going
Okay.
back over our text and I was looking. I'm like, okay, Uncle Buck. I've never seen that one.
God, and I'm telling you, as far as see, I get stuck. John Candy just has so many good movies, but
Yeah.
there's so many. Again, I quote so much of that movie in everyday life. It's unreal.
So I like the part whenever they the mom and dad call him up and they're like, hey, or the dad's like, I need you to come watch the kids for me and stuff like that. So he gets like John Candy gets ready. And he calls up his girlfriend, and he's like telling like, I'm not gonna come to work tomorrow. And then he's just sitting there.
she's just chewing him out.
Yeah, and he's
Ah. And then he's driving down the interstate trying to remember their names. Bobby, Betsy. No, that's not it.
It's just, I mean,
Oh, and he arrives at their house. It's like 2 a.m. And they tell him it's the White House and the whole street of White Houses. And he's over there beating the hell out of that door.
he's hollering for his brother. He's like, hey,
Bob!
I'm tired out here.
I'm starting to get angry, Bob. Buck? Bob? Buck? Bob?
It gets louder and louder. He's like, keep your voice down. What? What'd you say?
Oh, I love it.
And then
takes the kids to school.
Yeah, and that rusted up, like beat up car that just pop whenever it takes off.
Real bad.
Yeah.
Pulls up to the school and it's like all the kids are holding their ears in the car. Pow!
Everyone at the school just jumps down like
it blows the soot in that kid's face. Like off the kids at the ground. Have you ever been this embarrassed in your life? He's sitting there thinking. No. And I mean, that's got Macaulay Culkin in it, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Back in the Home Alone days.
Oh, yeah.
The Child Star days. And he's got so many, like, also quips in there. That's, when he pulls up to pick up the older sister and she's making out with Bug, which that's the name of her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. The car backfires. He walks up there and he was like, hey, you ever heard of a tune-up? And John Candy's like, you ever heard of a retro killing? I don't understand. Well, if you show your face around here again, you'll understand.
And then when he's like he's picking up his niece. He's talking to the boyfriend. He's like, yeah, you want to see my hatchet?
Oh yeah, when they go by and he's like, hey, we're just going by for some ice cream.
Yeah. I thought you'd want to come along.
See if you want to come along.
He's like, you know what a hatchet is? It's like an axe. Yeah, sort of.
See, I keep it in my vehicle just in case, if somebody's been drinking and they decide they're going to drive another person home after they've been drinking.
Yeah.
And, and they wreck and they're not dead or something. I like to teach them a lesson. Not kill them, just maim them.
Yeah. He goes back to the trunk and pulls it out. You want to come look at it? No, another time.
I keep it real sharp. So, I just take a little meat off the elbow or the knees, like mainly the knees. You got two good knees, don't you? And she's like, he's bluffing. It ain't true. He's like, here, see it? It's real tiny. He's like, see it? It's right here. And then, when they go to pull off, she starts making out with him. And did you catch, Macaulay Culkin in the back? He's like, oh, that's They shouldn't do that during flu season.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I tell you, 'cause that movie there, you can watch it a couple of times and just catch up on everything because I can straight tell you, I think a lot of listeners on here has probably at least seen some of the Austin Powers movies.
Oh yeah.
And I tell you, once you watch this movie, because it came long before Austin Powers did, if you go back and watch some of those, you'll catch callbacks to that movie. Believe it or not, I think you do.
Well, there was when I was watching Uncle Buck, there was some stuff in the movie that I've seen in other movies, don't like callbacks to it, and I just never I never realized until I watched it. I was like, okay, I remember this in another movie and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, there's an easy one to find in it. That's I'm here for the kids interview. They call me Uncle Melanoma. It's a mole of a problem. A mole. I'm the Uncle Mole, mole.
Yeah.
Because the vice assistant principal has this huge mole on her.
Oh yeah.
And straight know that they ripped that off on Austin Powers.
Oh yeah.
Here's a quarter. Why don't you go downtown and find a rat to gnaw that thing off your face?
When he's sitting outside the principal or vice principal's office, and that kid's beside him. She's like, "Next." He looks at the kid. He's like, "I'll go in there first. You just go ahead and just chill out here and wait it over. I'll back you up."
I'm sure you've seen on your way in that I'm the vice principal. It's on the door.
He looks back,
and it's not on the door. He's like, "Is it this
like
door?
The further door.
The first door you came in." Oh, because I didn't see anything on this door. I did they're just saying she's telling how terrible of a person his niece is because she has an imagination at 6 years old and it should be focused on her academics. And then it flashes back to her, or what's her name in that? Maddie?
No, it's not Mackenzie. Massey.
Sammy
something.
Swanson?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Samsonite, I was way off. But anyways, it flashes back to her sitting in the classroom, and she tells these outlandish stories all the time. And the teacher asked, he said, "Anyone have a good weekend story?" And she raises her hand, and they're like, "Yes." He's like, "My uncle put my socks in the microwave and the dog threw up for at least an hour." Is this a true story? This is a true story. Why did your uncle microwave socks? Because he couldn't get the goddamn washer to work. Yeah. And he's like, "Blasphemy!" Dude, I laughed so hard at that. It still cracks me up. Because, kids will just say anything. I mean, my daughter right now is testament to that. And I just think back to that scene because I know that's going to be my kid when she goes to school. She's a little girl and everything. "Why didn't you get your homework going?" "Because the goddamn power wouldn't turn back on." I know it'll be something like that. But, oh, God, I love that movie. Just, and it played off that people have family members like that. And you're going to see them. It's coming holidays, man.
Yep. You watch these movies and then you're like, you kind of...
Oh, yeah.
Referencing my family.
Yeah, you start playing people in your family. Like, you're sitting back after listening to these podcasts and watching these movies, and you're like, "Oh, my God, I have an Uncle Buck." That same scene with the vice principal. "I don't have a college degree. I don't even have a job." Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree with you. That's another just great travel movie. And like I said, the two kids, the stuff they say all the time. I'm just trying to think back to some more. You know, remember the clown scene?
Oh yeah, he comes up there in that the mouse car, climbs out of the car, and he walks up and he's like trying to hit the doorbell and he misses. Trying to focus.
So I read on there that there's a extended like version of that,
Oh really?
like a non-theatrical version that has got a lot more on it.
Hmm.
Like I guess he done a lot of that movie maybe like improv,
Yeah.
like just making up his own stuff, and that the producer really, I think, he loved it and ended up putting it in the movie. But that was back in the time when movies were reasonable, like an hour and a half. Like you didn't spend your whole freaking day in the movie.
Yeah.
Like you watched it, you had a good laugh, you got out, and hell, you had half the rest of the day to do something. And like they cut it out. I would like to find the non-cut version of it, because I feel it'd probably be like the Snyder cut.
the
Except
uncut.
for this one, would be like 2 hours.
Yeah, nothing too big, but still.
Right. I didn't have to get like a pee bag and some protein shots to make it through all the way without missing something. I got full ready to watch the Snyder Cut like I was on a Baja 1000 race in a trophy truck.
For
Put a catheter in and a drip and was like, let's do this. But yeah, so what's your FOFR score on this?
My FOFR score for Uncle Buck, I'm going to give it a 7.3.
That's a 9 all day long.
I know people might be thinking that, oh, that's low. I thought he was choosing this movie because I do like it, but again, we got to think. First time watching it, that's the rating that hit me. It might go up if I watch it again and more. Time will tell. But right now, 7.3.
And I mean, you guys definitely got to give us some comments on this. Like, are you a Chevy Chase fan? Do you even know who Chevy Chase is?
Have you seen the Vacation movie?
Yeah.
Do you know what Vacation is?
Yeah. I mean, if you say it's that new one, with Chevy Chase was in for a brief moment.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
And he kept the truckster. So you might know that part. But not that atrocious disaster that they redid. Let's not go there.
It wasn't that bad of a disaster.
It was terrible.
Listen,
the funniest part of that whole movie is when the brother goes to suffocate the other one with the bag while that girl's going by. I've never laughed so hard in my life on that part right there, where it's like I did not expect that at all. Like they're like making eye contact. It's like, this heartfelt like, oh, this girl's
it's
beautiful.
Just like, ah.
And then it's like,
it's like, go to sleep.
Yeah, like that was the funniest part of the whole movie. The rest of it was just too much of a ripoff. I mean, and it just got to that unreal comedy. Like that vehicle and all the crap going wrong with it.
They were putting a lot into this one.
Hitting a cow with a four wheeler is definitely not going to end in that result.
Yeah. But
Russ and Audrey, the people they picked for just didn't fit for me. I don't feel like they fit the original character's personification of how they would be grown up.
It kind of worked with the movies because, I mean, the kids were recasted in every Vacation movie.
Yeah, like
it's kind of keeping that tradition in there.
It did keep that tradition, but at least the kids, as they went through, kept that same.
So that's what they need to do: is do a new Vacation, just continue it, but change the actors again.
Hey, but listen, Clark and Helen and Uncle Eddie all stayed the same through every one of them.
Yep.
They just didn't like their kids, so they got new ones. But yeah, you guys gotta let us know. I'd say a lot of our listeners probably ain't even heard of Uncle Buck.
Probably not. It's not one that's
Well,
talked about a whole lot.
no, but it is well worth it.
It definitely is.
And I think, because see, I haven't watched these movies. Well, I've watched them within this year at some point, but I haven't watched them lately enough to know where they are. But you've looked, and most of these movies you're finding.
Let's see, Vacation is on HBO Max, and Uncle Buck, it's not anywhere on the streaming services. Like, if it's on there, you'd have to rent it or something like that.
Is that what you did, rent it?
Yeah, I rented it.
Yeah, see, that's the same with Great Outdoors.
Yeah.
Is because my wife wanted to watch it because she didn't remember. She was listening to this podcast and didn't remember all the things that I talked about on it. Like the guy getting struck by lightning, she didn't remember that. She didn't remember the skiing scene.
Yeah.
And so she wanted to go back and watch it. And the only place we could get it, we had to rent it from Apple TV. We could rent it from there. And I think even YouTube had it where you could rent it. Is it two places? I'm finding YouTube has a lot of, like, you can rent movies.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I don't really think of YouTube when I'm wanting to rent a movie.
No, not really.
It's kind of unconventional. But hey, they have a bunch of them. It's better than, well, my Peacock service right now. Because there was absolutely nothing on that streaming service.
No.
Once Halloween Kills came out on it, I tried. I thought, hey, maybe this is a streaming service I want to keep. Complete flop. Flop. The only thing on it that I really enjoyed and I binged it and got through it all was they had like the ultimate fan edition of The Office. Where it was like some extended Office, like the first 3 seasons or something.
So that's really the only thing.
Yeah.
Peacock's got for it is The Office. That's the only thing keeping it afloat.
Yeah, they're going to have to come up with some stuff. Because Netflix is killing it. I was going through there the other night. They've actually got some cool stuff. I kind of took a hiatus from them for a little bit. And then I was going like Red Notice and things like that. I'm looking forward to some of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's everything I got. Thank you guys for listening. We kind of got a little long-winded on this one, but it was worth it.
Definitely.
So keeping on this theme, we'll keep on next week with another great traveling movie. So you make sure you guys come back, listen every Thursday at noon or somewhere around that point, depending on when the platforms want to get our content out.
Yep.
So thank everybody for your support and your downloads. And I'm Adam.
And I'm Tasker. And that was Frank Opinions.